Welcome to another episode of Angels, Positivity, and Love. Incredible guests the world over with amazing backgrounds. Quite often, they've been through some sort of a transformative journey, haven't we all? And they're here giving service to others. They could be international best-selling authors, Amazon, New York Times. We've had an Oprah Super Soul Sunday guest, a White House physician to the US president, the youngest Delta Force operator ever, an Australian actor. If you still use Amazon Prime and you watch Sea Patrol, it's Ian Stenlake. He's fantastic. Check him out in the Elvis musical Down Under. We've had healers from all over the globe, 25 countries now. We're booked 300 plus episodes out into the end of 2025. We have a returning guest today who's absolutely fabulous. She's totally intuitive, totally about business marketing, is editor in chief of Best Holistic Life magazine in the LA area, 1.5 million subscribers. She's got so much more to her resume. She's a powerhouse of just love and energy. She's already been on and shared some amazingness with us on episode 135 coming out, or it's come out Sunday, October 27th in 2024. You'll see her again at the end of 2025. I'd like to also mention she's an author, a bunch of books out and so on, brand specialist, and a life coach if you're lucky. She's awfully booked up, really no space for it, but you can still sneak in there and grab her if money is no object. Okay, I'd like to welcome Jana Short to the show. I'm a huge fan of hers. Jana, great to see you again. Thank you for being on.
Hi, Michael. I am super excited to be here again.
We have fun. We have fun off camera and we have fun on camera. What's been up with you that you would want to start with as a reminder? Because I think all of us as humans on our daily journey forget everything all the time. We all need a little bit of lightening up. We could all use an assist from the universe if we only knew how. What's been the kind of current flavor for you in the last couple months?
For me, it's been talking about feeling all the emotions. So I know the holidays are coming up. I know this will be after the holidays, but the holidays are coming up. And for some people, that's a really tough time of the year is the holidays. So I've been talking to people about being prepared, being like putting on their armor, understanding that sometimes people say the wrong things, but it's usually out of love. And working with people about moving into the holidays. And when I say putting on their armor, I mean working on themselves, understanding you are amazing, you're incredible, and those words should not matter. The only words that should are the ones we say to ourselves.
And talk to us more about self-love, self-worth, and allowing more daily with a capital A, allowing more, just showing love more to yourself and others.
For me, I think a lot of, or for me, the hardest thing to do is change that conversation we're having in our heads, right? I'm not good enough. I didn't do this right. I'll never be able to get that done. Oh, I wish I had what they're doing. I've tried so hard to get there. And I want to tell you that you have all that you need to get there. It's all within you. And if you can just change some of your words, like for me, I just wrote the book, The Yet Factor. And I'm telling you, changing a simple word as yet, I haven't done this yet. I haven't accomplished this yet, but I'm working towards it every day and learning more. I think that using little simple words to talk better to yourself really changes your outcome and it changes the energy flow for you. Sometimes it's really hard and we have to do it over and over. We even have a chapter in the book called Whack-a-Mole, and it's all about you got to get better at it. So as that thought pops up, you whack it and you start looking for the next negative thought and you're going to whack it down with something positive or a reframe. And honestly, I've been doing this for 12 years and I still have to play the whack-a-mole game.
Yeah, same. Every time I go for a run, anything that's been on me bubbles up within the first 2 miles. But usually by mile 4 or 5, I'm much more smoothed out and connected to nature, the universe. Talk to us more about how you go through your day-to-day routine and how you stay connected or loose or more open rather than tightening up.
Thanks for asking that because I think it's a really important thing to have certain patterns that you do for yourself every day. So for me, getting up in the morning early, super early, I'm an early girl because I can have my little coffee. I can sit in the yard and dig my feet into the ground. I'm in Southern California, so we can do that most of the year. And I just love to have that moment where my dogs are playing and it's just peace and quiet for me. And I always set an intention for my day. I know I have a busy, hectic calendar. I know that there's just a whole lot going on, but I sit out there in the peace of the universe and I set an intention. And sometimes that intention isn't even something that I was thinking about. That the universe is just putting it in front of me. Those are, by the way, the best days. Like when I just do a blind fall into the universe's calling, magical things happen. And sometimes I'm like, where did that come from? I have no idea. It wasn't even on my radar. And I just blind fall or into whatever the universe is directing me to. And it's a beautiful day. So that is my morning routine. I don't look at, by the way, I don't turn on my phone and check emails. I don't look for text messages, nothing until my mindset is ready to start my day and I sit at my desk because I used to do that. And I was always running late. And why I'm trying to have that moment of peace and quiet, my brain is thinking about the stuff I left that is not done and how I'm going to handle that. So now I don't touch anything, no outside influences until I have those couple of hours and I sit at my desk. I'm like, all right, business time, new brains, new brain set. I'm doing business right now. And I can go and look at all of that and handle it. So I keep the mornings for me, and it's super important for your health to keep the mornings for you. Or if it's in the afternoon, or if it's in the evening after you put your kids down and it's quiet, you need to have that moment for yourself where you're able to like really dive into what you need. Am I feeling okay? Check in with your body. Is my mindset okay? Or is there something I'm struggling with? And take that moment to really inner focus on yourself and see what it is that you need to do for, the next part of your journey. Ooh, I
I
just
think
saw
that was,
the orb. Did you see that?
I didn't see it, but I'll mark it down and we'll see.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome. And we're about to circle right back to the same topic all over again. I just feel it's so important what you just said. And there's something about the human mind. The audience could be 3 years from now in Germany, Tokyo, wherever, listening to this is like, oh my God, yes, she's right. I agree with her. I'll start next week. And 2 years goes by and they haven't started at all. So there's a part of us that can only hear about to the neck up. And if I put my hand on my heart and I really start listening to this all over again, people can take it into their field and actually take a few steps tomorrow morning. Can you take us just slow this down to when you wake up, how to get to that patio, the back porch, or just to a window with an outdoor view, maybe a cup of tea, a cup of coffee? Take us back through that so that they have a couple of just simple steps. Taking a breath is opening your connection to all. Can you rewind just a little and really go dive into that a little more?
I would love to, because again, that is really important to make it happen. So I'm not a jump out of bed, although I wake right up. And I always tell people, you always grab the joy angel. And I always tell people I'm filled with joy the minute I wake up. I have no idea. Yes, I'm so connected to joy in my life that when I wake up, my heart, like I'm excited for the day to start. But I always like get up slower. I sit on my bed, take a few breaths. I do a little like stretching, look around, like where are my puppies at? What are they doing? They're usually in their kennel because my husband's already left for work because he's much earlier than me. But then I go and grab my doggies. I have a little love time with them, let them out. I go and make my coffee. I'm a coffee girl, 2 cups a day, or I cannot function. I make my coffee, let the dogs back in, and then I go sit. I have a swinging chair. Here's what I would recommend to you. It doesn't have to be outside. Some people don't want to, or they're in an area that half the year it's too cold. Find a peace place for you, wherever that is. If it's on the sofa, if it's in your room, wherever you have that moment of peace that you can be in, where you like to read your favorite book, maybe, or you just like to look and gaze out the window. Find your peace place and go there first thing in the morning and allow that peace to overwhelm you. And if you can find an emotion that you wake up with, for me, it's always been joy. Well, it hasn't always been joy, by the way. It started 12 years ago that it was joy when I had the near-death experience. And I didn't like what I saw. And I knew that if I was here, every moment was going to be joyful, however many moments that was. But then I would find that special place that you need to be, taking that emotion that you want, that intention that you feel. Some people take time to journal then. Sometimes I journal then, but mostly at night. I really want my brain to go empty because if I'm thinking about How many emails do I have? Oh my gosh, I have calls. Oh, I'm meeting with Michael this morning. I'm excited. What do I need to prepare for? If I start getting into that space, the universe isn't able to give me the message I need to hear. It's going to get jumbled up in the noise. So I always take a few deep breaths, like just breathe in the air, digging your toes grounded wherever you're at. I'm listening to the leaves blowing, right? It's right now, it's starting to turn fall in LA, whatever that looks like. A few brown leaves. But we do have a tree, a big tree that starts to turn color and drops hundreds of leaves. And I can listen to the trees talking to me, right? I listen to my pool waterfall with the water going. And pretty soon, the next thing you know, I'm in the universe and I'm able to receive those messages. So wherever your place of peace is, make sure your phones aren't on. It doesn't have to be a long time. I promised myself I would sit still for 5 minutes. I now am out there for 30 minutes because I've gotten to where I've allowed my body to relax, to receive the messages through breathing, through making sure I'm not distracted and making sure I'm in the moment of the universe, right? What does it sound like? What does it smell like? Like, what am I smelling? What am I hearing? It really starts, you'll start getting goosebumps when you're out there. It feels like electricity to me sometimes. It changes the way you feel and the way you're able to receive the messages that are coming to you. And by the way, you are all getting messages. Every single one of us on this planet are getting messages. There are those little thoughts that pop in our heads. We're like, where'd that come from? Then you get a confirmation. Well, someone will say the same thing. You're like, oh my gosh, deja vu. I was just thinking that. That is a confirmation from the universe that what you heard is real. And so I want you to start paying attention to that because all of us have the capability to tap into these beautiful people, our angels, our beings, or whatever you want to call it around us that are sending us messages. And that's when I get it in my morning peace time where I'm relaxing and I'm just like being part of that universe and saying, this is my open connection time.
So is love really the fabric of the universe? And how do you know?
I don't know that love is the fabric of the universe. First of all, I think we all would love to be in that space of love. And that's what we all thrive for, right? All of us want to be accepted and filled with love. But some of us aren't. And that doesn't mean that they're not in the universe, right? Some of us haven't been able to receive love for whatever reasons. Um, so I don't know that it's the full thread. I think that emotion maybe might be the more thread of the universe. And I think all the emotions are good. Anger is good. Hatred is good. All of them are good, but you don't want to live in hatred, right? I call it a loading, unloading zone. Think about you're driving a car and you're so angry, pull over, unpack it, fill it, unpack it, and leave it in the loading section and move forward. But you have to feel all the feelings because if I hadn't been who I was before I got sick, I would never have recognized what I wanted to be and the things I wanted to change. All of the emotions are good. Don't push them down. Don't hide when you get angry. Recognize, wow, this is anger. How do I get through this, right? How do I turn my anger and work on that to become something different or receive it differently? So I don't know that I feel like love is the only thing threading the universe because we're leaving out maybe 60% of the people who are still struggling to receive love. By the way, since we're talking about love, I want everyone to understand that every single person on this planet, no matter who you are, what you've done in life, are deserving of love. It's the simplest thing to give someone is real love. And I never understood what that was like until I had children. And I understood no matter what I said, what I did, these beautiful beings love me regardless. They come to me for nurturing, they come to me for advice. Like I am their anchor. No matter what is going on in my life, that love that comes from them has never changed. So I understand what is possible when you really focus on who you love and it doesn't really matter what's going on in their life. You still love them. I may not like them every day. There are days I'm like, I do not like you. So you need to step away. Just know I love you, but today's not a good day for you.
I'll read a quick couple sentences on compassion, kindness, gentleness that I think is in line with that. Sometimes the person next to you or a stranger just needs validation via love and compassion. A smile changes any moment. So too does laughter or a few kind words. be compassion to all, do it. What does that mean to you?
Oh my gosh, I'm going to say something and I know it's going to be bad. But I do TikTok. I don't do it. I watch it because a lot of clients on it and I like to make sure I'm keeping up with what they're doing. I'm a life coach, right? I see moments that maybe they don't want to expose to me that I can help them through because I know a little bit more about them. And I started seeing these, I don't know why they came up on my feed, these Karen videos, right? Where someone's in complete distress. You can tell like this person is having a break. And what are the opposite person, instead of extending, are you okay? Okay, let's reset, take a breath. I apologize for whatever I did to cause you to feel this way, but let's take a breath. They stick a camera in their face and they poke at them. They keep poking Karen, Karen, and they keep poking at them to get the person more angry, more distressed. And I'm thinking, what has our world come to when it's more important to get a video of someone completely losing it? I'm going to tell you, there was years ago where people did have those phone cameras that I would probably be crashing the internet because I have lost it. And there was something going on in my world that was just my final straw. And it wasn't even about what they were doing or saying that made me lose it. We have to have more compassion for the person next to us. We need to stop putting a camera in their face and maybe set it down and say, are you okay? Is everything okay? I am so sorry that I did not realize maybe there's something going on. How can I help? But instead, we want to get more follows. So we stick the camera in their face. That to me is really a sad place for our country.
How about angels? Do angels exist?
Yes, they do exist and they're around us every day. So be careful. I don't know. I think I may have shared this on the last show, but in LA where we are, there are homeless people. And there was one day that we were driving and I saw a man and I don't make eye contact with them. I just can't because I feel pain. I feel sickness. I'm an empath and I don't make eye contact. Um, but we were driving and there was a guy standing with his sign. And I don't even remember what the sign said, but I looked up to look at the sign and I made eye contact with this man. And immediately my body overfilled with compassion and love. And I started to cry. And my husband's like, what's wrong? I'm like, and as we're driving through the light, now I'm like, that was an angel. That was not a human being standing there. Like what they conveyed in that, I still got the chills to confirm that that's what it was. What he confirmed just in a look showed more compassion for me, for homeless people, right? Sometimes it's a little hard in LA, but because, there's a lot going on there. But I looked at him and I knew the minute he looked in my eye that that was an angel. And I was supposed to see him that day. He was supposed to send me that message. I was supposed to look up and look in his eyes. So yes, they are around us constantly.
Talk to us about letting go, how important it is just to get out of the brain, out of words, out of structure, out of what you know, especially the type of knowing that precludes possibility. Now that all that's going to come right back for however long you think you can let go, but talk to us about that concept of dropping into the heart.
You know what? That's really hard because it's scary to drop into our feelings, right? It's scary what we might see there or what we might not see there. And so it's sometimes it's super hard to make that transition, but I will tell you, if you work on it, it will happen. And when you get into the place of the heart, like when I work as a life coach and I'm working with a client, I hear the brain questioning and the heart sometimes closing down depending on the question or sometimes opening up for it. And for me to help them make that connection, this is brain talk and this is, I call it soul talk. This is what your heart and soul is trying to give you a message of. And again, 12 years ago, I didn't understand the difference. I listened to the monkey brain, right? All the questions that came up, all the past beliefs that would come up. But my heart and soul were constantly always ignoring that and leading me in the path of where I should go. It's really hard to tap into that, and it is absolutely scary. I think I was more scared about what I wouldn't see than what I would see. Um, Taking that, like I said, that break in the morning or in the evening, whenever you find that time to make space, that's really time to shut down the brain and get into the heart. And here's how you do that. take breaths, look for stuff, look, ask visually to see a peaceful place. It's kind of almost like doing self-hypnosis, right? You're talking to your brain. I want to listen to the trees, and you see the trees swaying in your head. I hear my pool fountain. I want to hear a babbling brook, right? And I'm visualizing this. The next thing you know, you're in such a place of peace that your heart will burst into place. It really does. There'll be times you'll start crying. You don't know why. There will be times that you'll be like, oh my gosh, joy hit me, and I'm smiling and laughing. And it's whatever is in there comes forward. So here's the hardest part. When you have a really tough decision to make, yeah, your brain should come into play. It should come into play like financially, can I do this? Like all those questions should be asked. But at the end of the day, it's your heart that's going to tell you the right answer. So after I've even heard that, even though my heart's saying opposite of what my brain's saying, I know that there's going to be a way made for me in the future, right? I know that that's my path, and I don't see how I'm going to get there. Starting a magazine, writing a book, I've never written. I wouldn't know how to start a magazine. I was an interior designer. But when I knew from my heart this was a path I was supposed to go on with these women that I was working with, it opened the doors that I didn't even know were there. So I would tell you, when you start listening to your brain, which you should, it's going to give you some information, and those are all technicals, but it comes with past belief patterns, right? Old habits, loops that aren't going to function or work for you anymore. And so listen to that heart pull. What does that sound like? What does that feel like? Do I get excited when I talk about this? Do I see hope? Does my heart fill with joy? Is this my purpose? I've seen so many people, Michael, miss their purpose because their head got in the way and talked them out of it. And it's sad to me. But at some point later down the road, when they're in a better place, they find it. Like a woman who wrote this incredible book, um, and she was much older. She was 104 years old. And she published her first book. And I told her publisher, you need to get her and get his book. Who's going to break that record? First, you have to live to 104, and then you have to write a book. But she probably could have written beautiful books all her life. But maybe the universe at some point said, look, we're going to get the one out of you that we need to get from you to leave behind. But she wrote her first book at 104 because she listened to everything else. You're not a writer. She had all of her past beliefs, but her heart knew the story had to be told. And so she finally told it at the age of 104, which I think is fabulous.
You keep touching on something this whole time that I think it's really important for the audience to appreciate. They've got the same ability to tap into the universe. It's awareness here, thinking up here. From the neck up, it's totally real. You can have the best career, the worst of times, the best of times. But if you're not getting out of up here and into the heart, can you finish the rest of that?
If you're not getting out of here and getting into the heart, you're missing a whole beautiful world in front of you. You really are missing it. I feel bad for, I missed it. I missed it for 50 plus years. I'm glad though, because I still don't believe there's any wrong journeys. I was sent on that path, or I chose that path for a reason, to learn what I needed to know right here. So there's no wrong journey. Can I share a really personal story about my dad?
Yeah.
So my dad was an alcoholic and a drug addict, and he came from a family of alcoholics and drug addicts. My mom wasn't much of a drinker. He was abusive to her, and she divorced him when I was 5. And I had me and my brother, and we were 2 years apart. My brother passed away at the age of 14 in an automobile accident. My dad was MIA, which I'm kind of grateful for. I wouldn't want to be in his drunk world. But he showed up for his funeral. I hadn't seen him since I was 5 years old. So I'm 16. He shows up for his funeral and wants to have a relationship with me. I did not want this relationship, Michael. Like he wasn't there, and I was angry. I was so angry that my brother didn't have his dad like all the other boys at the baseball games. And I had all this hatred towards him. So when I had my daughter, I was very young. I was 17 years old, and my dad, who I was trying to build a relationship with, decided he was going to pick me up from the hospital. He wanted to be the papa that showed up and picked me up. He was so sober from what he said. We didn't have cell phones or anything, Michael. I was sitting in the hospital, and the day went by. I'm waiting with my bags packed, my baby. He never showed up,
Oh boy.
just like he always did. He never showed up. And I'm looking at this baby. I'm 17. I'm like, uh-uh. he never showed up for me. He's not doing this to my child. I'm stopping it here.
Mm.
And so I had a call with him. He stopped and got drunk and couldn't make, he just needed one drink. And of course, one drink always turns into more. And he couldn't come pick me up. And so I had a conversation with him. I don't want you in my life anymore. I just am not going to have that anymore. And he got sober and he stayed sober. The day my daughter was born was the last drink he ever had for 20 years. But here's where the miracle comes in and the magic and what I'm trying to get to. When he passed away, she was 20. I went to his funeral and we still weren't very close because even though he passed away, he became a workaholic, right? He still was in a addictive mindset, basically. And there was still no space. And I don't know if a lot of that had to do with guilt on his part, but that was his journey. But when I went to his funeral, Michael, the place was packed. There were people standing outside and they had to put speakers out there. I'm like, are we at the wrong place? And it was packed. And this was a big church in Laguna Beach.
Mm.
And so we go in and I take like back standing room and my aunt, bless her heart, had saved seats for me and my family up front. So she came and got us like, what is happening? And I'm watching this funeral, which by the way was 2.5 hours long, but it was a long line of people standing to come up and say what, you know, how people come up and they'll say something. It was kind of like an AA meeting, but every single person came up and said, when Lonnie found me, and that was my dad's name, I was living in my car. My wife had thrown me out. I was living in my car. And they were talking about their rock bottoms. And when my dad crossed paths with them and where they've changed, they had been sober 8 years, 10 years, 12 years. One was the mayor. And I'm thinking, one of them was a guy from like kind of like a Hell's Angel biker group, but with my dad, because my dad was a biker, he loved writing. And they started this charity for this, what do they call it? Place for children that had no homes. I don't know why, an orphanage in Mexico. And all these bikers would put these little trailers on their bike and fill it with toys and drive over into Mexico and deliver these toys. And so they were talking about it. But I had an angel touch me there, literally, and whisper in my ear, this was his purpose, not to be your dad, but you needed to be here. And I realized like all the hatred for my dad literally left. I wish I'd had this aha moment before, but all the hatred, I'm like, oh my gosh, if he was a dad, it would just be my life, right? He was meant to be an alcoholic and a drug addict and the family he was in. So he could get right where he was at and cross paths with all these people living his purpose. So when you run into someone not doing what you want them to do, just know that maybe that is their purpose. That is a journey they're here to live so that they can do the things that they were sent here to do. And for me, I get chills and it makes me want to cry, but it literally lift my hatred for him. And I understand now when I see people doing things that I'm like, that's bothering me. Why are you should be doing this? I now take a breath and stand back and say, maybe this is their universe's journey. And I try to be more supportive of it instead of having the hatred towards it.
Oh my God. Look, I'm leaky eyed over here, and that was awesome. Really awesome. So, I mean, we've taped 220 shows by now, if you count panels, maybe 235. I don't know. But now that's the most leaky eyed I've gotten out of all the different, 400 hours of content. So, thank you for that. It was deep, beautiful. I'm going to light some sage to shift up the tempo here. People can catch this. We did this on your prior episode. And we've done this on a lot of other shows. If you're just coming in for the first time, subscribe, like, comment, share, and people are super shy. We're up to 520,000 channel visits. A lot of those are for the shorts, but emojis count. Even if you're shy, it's okay. Put a couple emojis in, or what did you relate to most in the show? This is a chance to be interactive too. Your schnoggin works, or if it doesn't work, it still works. The universe is so big, it's more of a frequency or a transmission. So while I'm about to light sage, and you can smell sage wherever you are on the globe, Tokyo, Germany, New Zealand, Christchurch, and it's 2030, the year, just give yourself permission, set your intent. I think that's part of what we're talking about without talking about it. Setting your intent, you don't even have to know what you're setting your intent about. I'm setting my intent with the universe to be as open as I'm ever going to allow for. Good luck with that. And hey, universe, step in and do the rest. Help me have a little more fun, breathe easy, be nicer to people, be nicer to myself. Catch sage. Are you already smelling it, Jana?
Yeah.
Okay. But Now, here's the extra thing. Why settle for linear, which is most shows? Sage, wonderful. Catch flowers, catch ocean. If you'll close your eyes, breathe extra through your mouth, Jana, and ask angels, the universe, however you roll. It's got to be your language, folks. Set your intent, be like, hey, angels, get me out of my head into my heart. Help me smell sage, flowers, and ocean. Thank you. That works great. Help me have a great cup of tea at 3 o'clock today. What are you getting for flowers?
Lilac.
Okay. And then close your eyes and see a beach somewhere. It could be Laguna, but it could be Mexico, Baja. It could be Hawaii. If you will really breathe through your mouth and let an angel come in, hold your shoulder, but see her on the beach. Just nod. You don't have to give any detail. Ask your dad to come in next to that angel and see him as if he's half the age you would have expected and bright, really fresh. Like, I don't know how else to say it. Intact, whole, happy, flowing. And all you have to do is give a thumbs up or a nod. We don't need to know any detail. This is private for you. Perfect. Catch a little extra. Like he's giving you a t-shirt with a mantra on it and you say it and it's pure love. 1+1=111. I'm good at math. And anybody at home, close your eyes and just ask your angels to come in, get a whoosh down, yummy in the tummy, get a whoosh on your back, get wind in the room. I always run to my thermostat and I'm like, it can't be. It's shut off. The windows aren't open. How is this possible? Because the brain is so darn limited, but so darn ingenious. Whoops. Okay. What has now popped in as a next leaping point to talk to us about with just that little bit of maneuvering we did?
Why don't we talk about mindset, moving into new patterns and changing some of that old thinking? That's my zone. I love telling you anything's possible and you have everything you need between these beautiful ears of yours. Like you just have to start activating it. It's the best computer in the world. Think about it that way. What we program into it is what we make happen.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to talk about making changes to the mind using what I've written about in the Yap Factor. And I'm going to talk right now about success detours and how we set ourselves up for detouring from success. And I call this people who are struggling with imposter syndrome, who are super successful, do this all the time. For me, it's shiny objects. Ooh, that would look great, or that would be awesome, or we could do this or create that. And then I get off track of what I'm supposed to be doing. And I have to figure out how to stay focused and you really do have to put blinders on when the universe tells you to do something. It's going to distract you along the way. Your brain distracts you, right? So I have to put blinders on to do it. But creating a better mindset is recognizing the negative things that pop up in your head. I will use an example about finances for me. I was told by my mom years ago when I was young, we were always told the man is a provider of the household, right? He is like the king, the god in the house. And that's fine. I think your dad should be your kings and gods, right? And protect you. Having said that, it's not necessarily always real. I was raised with no dad in the house. And so for me, my mom, when I wanted to go to college, I asked her to go to college. And here's where a lot of you guys are going to, especially my age, are like, yeah, someone told me that too. But I was told that to be careful. If I make more money than my husband, he'll feel threatened. And if I'm smarter than him, he will feel threatened and we will not have a good relationship. Like we'll fight over money because I make more and he doesn't, or if I'm smarter or more educated. So I dummied down most of my life because I didn't want to threaten that being in my life. Now I understand that that would be something they need to work on and figure out. And that was putting a lot of projection on the person I love, who has completely told me, you go make all the money you want and be as smart as you like. I'm not going anywhere. But for years, for decades, actually, I dummied down in corporate settings, in job interviews, because I needed to sound ditzy, right? That's what women do. And it wasn't until I got in my 60s and found my voice that I realized it's okay. We have a voice. So I'm talking about women, but this is the same for men, right? There are men who are told you have to be the provider. You have to do this. I really believe that our partnerships, whatever those partnerships look like for you, they are equal partnerships, right? Sometimes one person is pulling a heavier load than the other, and then the next time you're pulling the heavier load than the other. But it's all about supporting each other where you're at. But for me, it kept me from making money. I had a block. It kept me from moving forward in careers. I had a block that it wasn't a woman's place to move forward. Here's the thing, your moms, whatever they tell you about money, our life, our love, They're telling you it out of love. That was their beliefs, right? That they were taught. And they were trying to, my mom was trying to protect me to have this wonderful fake relationship, basically. But she was trying to protect me, thinking I would always be cared for and taken care of if I did these things. And so, again, it stuck with me for decades until I found that by doing work and hearing it come up and understanding, why am I backing away from this? I've got this. I've got the right answer that they need, but why am I backing away? Or worse yet, going to the guy next to me and saying, you know, it'd be a great idea, and telling it to them so they would bring it up and we can move forward, and then stepping back going, what a great idea. Yes. So that is an old belief pattern. And so I want you to be paying attention to your old belief patterns. If you have what we used to call, and I think this might be my next book, a bad man picker. My mom would call it a bad man picker, when one of my friends would get in the same relationship over and over and over again. She picked the same kind of man instead of understanding. By the way, it was work she needed to do within herself, not changing any of them. We get in the relationship saying, when we're together, they won't do that. We'll change that. That never happens because that's not your job. Having said that, when you go in and you're picking the wrong man, there's usually a pattern, a negative pattern that pops up, and you're looking for that or attracting that. And so if you go in and do some work on yourself, start feeling more worthy of what you really deserve and putting that energy out there, because some of us think that that's what love looks like. It looks like love when someone talks to me badly, when they don't show up for me. But I get the love bomb later. So that's what love looks like, right? I want you to look within yourself when it comes to finances, when it comes to love, relationships, or even family values. Look within yourself and think, what is right for me? What do I deserve? Do I deserve a person in my life that loves me like I love them, just as we are? Do I deserve to have the business that I want? Am I worthy of it? And when you start creating that deserving, worthy person within you, you would start attract. I'm telling you, sometimes I sit here and I'm getting bombed with potentials and opportunities because I put it out into the universe, that energy. And by the way, the universe is not a one-way flow. You have to be giving while you're receiving. So a lot of people are major givers, and some people are takers, right? They're major receivers. But I'm going to do this little thing with you that I do when I'm working with people and they're giving, 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 and I have to break them of it, or because they feel guilty if they're not giving, or they're receiving, receiving, receiving because they feel they deserve it and there should be no flow back. So if I were to tell you to get ready and have you take a deep breath in, don't stop though. Keep taking it. You're a taker. Keep breathing in, breathing in, breathing in. I want you to breathe in. Don't stop until your lungs are expanding and they're hurting and they're burning. That's what it is if you're just taking and you're not releasing, right? And giving. It's the same with giving. If you're a giver, take in a deep breath. Now blow, blow, blow. Just keep blowing it out. It's going to hurt. It's going to burn. Keep blowing out till you think you're going to pass out. That's what happens when you're just a giver and you're just extending yourself. You feel dizzy, lightheaded. It takes a toll on your body and your mental health. You can stop all of that now and start taking normal breaths. But if you're normally giving and receiving, the universe has this beautiful flow. I make sure everything I do that there's a flow to it. If I'm doing something, what are they receiving? And so I want you to like in, out. If you actually will start feeling strengthened, you'll feel your brain activating when you're doing this. It's the same when you're in any kind of situation, a relationship, business, family. You have to see what the flow is. I can't be saying yes all the time and being the taker, like I'm taking on all this or I'm giving all of this. You cannot be that person in anything. But if you can find a way to balance the flow in the universe, magical things happen. Sometimes I think I'm getting too much. So I have to stop and like, wait, I've got my receiving door open for sure, but is my exiting door where I'm giving back to others, is that open? And am I making this flow a good flow? So I am really aware. It's one of the things, honestly, that came to me through this near-death experience is I was a taker, right? But for me, it was contractual. I do a job, I take the funds, right? I do this, I take it. So I wasn't really giving any value back, where I was making a real human connection that would go on. I was in the door, out the door, giving instruction, and I really wasn't present. And so having that moment for me, I understood the world works on a beautiful flow of give and take, receiving and giving. And I see people all the time who are giving all the time and they're receiving. I'm like, it's coming. Why are you not receiving it? I don't want to take that. Or I don't want to. When you don't allow me to give you something, you're blocking my flow and it's pissing me off. So just kindly take it. Even a compliment. I see people deflect compliments. You look so good today. Oh, I don't know. I wasn't going to wear it. You immediately counteract a compliment. I see this on a daily basis. Receive that compliment. Thank you. You don't even have to give anything back. You can just say thank you. Thank you for saying that. That really made my day. Something nice, but don't counteract it with, "Oh, I didn't do my hair. I don't have any makeup on. I just put on something old." Just say thank you. Receive it. So I think that when you're getting into a perfect mindset for yourself, it's work. There's, again, no place like perfection, but we can always be working on ourselves. Keep in mind, really, the key to the universe is being open for both giving and receiving. That flow works so beautiful.
Thank you for that. Such an important point. I love it. I'm going to put up two photos of angels, Joy and Audrey Hepburn. Let's have them add a little to the dialogue. You can treat them like a fireplace. By that, I mean you put your hand up and just feel what you can feel on your palm, but you might as well get whooshed up and down your body. So we're juggling two balls at once, catch flowers in the air all over again. And if you want to breathe through the mouth, I can't really see you. Breathe through the mouth more at home, folks, if you want to turn up the volume like a 1970s receiver. And hear a few words from her saying, right on, sister. What'd you get?
Right on, sister was coming out of my head.
I rest my case. We did this before the show. I said something that she's like, I just got that.
Literally, I
And
was thinking it as you said it. I'm like, how is he reading my mind?
exactly. So look, that is a moment to bookmark for the audience. I try not to ever use it if I can, because it's so much better if you do your own listening. Um, with that, talk to us about your magazine for 1 second. Plug it. It was smaller, obviously, when you start a magazine around 2019, before the pandemic. And you literally defied magazine business models, because yours is successful. It's growing. It's well received. Is it 1.5 million subscribers
It's
now?
actually 1.7 now.
Yay.
Oh.
And this is Best Holistic Life magazine, not just limited to the LA area. Talk to us about distribution and everything else.
So the magazine is global, and the pandemic really worked in our favor because people were searching for holistic options online, right? And we were already out there. Um, for me, the reason the magazine got started real quickly is someone asked me to do a newsletter. I didn't want to do a newsletter. I was working in health and wellness and on the holistic side. And I asked had some celebrity clients, and I asked everyone, can you just give me an article and I'll put it in my newsletter. And I got about 30 articles, and my design kicked in, my design need. And so I'm like, how do I give people 30 articles? Who do I leave out? So I created on Canva this beautiful magazine, the only one I was on the cover of because it was my newsletter, not a magazine. And we sent it out. Of course, you have to sign up to get it. And we got like 38,000 people who wanted the newsletter. And so it just started growing from there. We used to do quarterly, now we do monthly. We even have an extra one that comes out in June, a special issue. But the magazine was put in place to help you find answers. We don't allow curative claims or diagnoses. We vet every single person that writes for us, that they are qualified to say what they're saying. But we want to highlight the people who are not, and there's nothing wrong with products, but they're not on pushing products, are saying they're a natural path, they're a homeopath, and they've just rolled out of bed and said, people are making money at this. I'm going to do it. I can do this. And so we want to vet them for you and make sure we connect you to people who are genuinely interested in your well-being. And we change out authors. We have a core of regular columnists, but we do change out half the magazine as one-time articles for free. We let them do it for free, that they can come in after we've vetted them and write an article for us. So we want to be sure the flow works right. Half of it is paid space. The other half is for one-time articles. So everyone has an opportunity to get their voice and message out.
Brilliant. Okay, I've got another angel for you. Audrey Hepburn, an actual angel. This is a historical photograph. She's wonderful. She's half grace. There's already an angel named Grace. There's a hope. There's a faith. There's a joy. There's a harmony. You get the pattern. She's half grace and half sparkle in the moment. People can let this photo move. We know in the brain that photos cannot move. There's no way she's going to wink, smile, shoulder waggle, eyebrow goes up. And you can catch an uninvented perfume from Paris right now in the room. The real rub is if we ditched all the topics we talked about today, what are you allowing for daily? And I think the message Jana is giving to us all is you can allow for more. And what does more look like? That's up to you. And then the universe wants to step in and be the other part of the waltz, do the music, the dance floor, even be your partner or show you how to dance. You just have to say yes. So, are you getting any perfume in the air? Are you feeling okay? Did she move in the photograph for you? Did you get an eyebrow going up, a smile, a wink?
No, I got a shrug.
Okay, perfect. Now, what does she have as a reminder for us all that's right in line with the way you do your holistic help for all of us?
She's telling me the word abundance. And I think that's pretty special considering she was such a beautiful philanthropist where she was helping so many people around the globe. People think that abundance is limited and there's not enough. There's plenty for us all to have and share in it and partake in it. So she's sharing abundance with me. And yeah, I want to
Nice. I'm gonna
I kind
do
of want to cry. She's kind of an amazing woman.
oh,
When I see her, I see all the kindness that she did, not her movies, although she's a queen to me, right? Not her movies. I see her compassion and kindness and always like she kept moving forward to help others. And for me, she was amazing.
poetry in motion. Do you have a preference between this photo and this photo?
That one,
Okay, so
for
I'm
sure.
going to put this up. If you don't mind doing both hands and ask for anything you can ask for, we'll treat this like it's a universal flow of love, light, possibility, abundance, and more. People have to use their own words. Simply ask, allow, and ask your angel crew. If you have a cheerleading squad, past over loved ones, your pets, everybody, maybe past lives, your relatives as well. I think people are loved more than they'll ever realize. But if they slow down, they can realize a little bit of it and then a little more. So, what are you getting from this photo? And what's a reminder for everybody to like live a little more?
I'm getting my mom, motherly love, telling me I knew you could do it,
Aw,
which, by the way, is out of character for her.
but she stepped up and did it.
She
Um,
did.
Okay, we're gonna start wrapping up. You know how to wrap up shows, but before we do, we'll do one last thing. This is still interactive, but without any photos or anything like that. It's just me and you, but it's actually gonna be angels too. So I'm gonna put my hand up in Texas. You'll put your hand up in California. Just feel my vibe. It's love and above, not my bill paying side. I'm gonna go back to thinking in about half an hour. So I'll be rock star like everybody else, thinking, thinking, thinking. But this is love, the heart. Are you feeling a little tingle vibe? I've lost my English. Warmth, sparkle. What are you feeling?
I feel the tingle, like a little electricity going through.
Yay. Okay, now I'm going to whoosh you with this hand. It'll look like an invisible ping pong paddle. Let angels do all the whooshing. It's going to be rainbow light. You'll feel what you feel. Don't judge. Like what you said about emotions earlier. Here comes the first whoosh. Get three of these. Make this small, sandbag it. Here comes the first one. My microphone's down below. I'm going to blow you Hawaii. Catch a little Hawaii in the air again. Blame angels. Don't blame Canada. Here it comes. Hitch a little Hawaii in the air and get a whoosh. Did you get yummy in the tummy, on the back of you, top of your head, all over the room? Breathe extra. What'd you get?
All over the room. I feel like I'm standing in the mountain area of, not the beachy area, the mountain area in Hawaii.
Yay, she's doing peppermint patty, but in Hawaii. I love it. The commercials from the 80s. Okay.
Yeah.
Second one, go a little bigger. And this time, put a couple projects in there because you got some stuff you're doing. And you could always use more wind in your sails. Same thing for people at home. What do you allow for? Here comes the bigger one. I'm going to blow a little extra, get a little more Hawaii in the air. Ask for a little more love, people. If you want to get a little more love, it's really angels vibing you out. Okay, and how is that one different, Jana?
That one's business and it's totally different.
I love it. Okay, last one's go big, go home. You're clearly at home, so let's go big. And here comes the last one. Ask all the angels in the world, all the loved ones. Don't get teary-eyed, but has to be just waltzed, swept, Disney CGI'd. I don't know what anyone's about out there, but it's got to be your request, your way. Have it your way, Burger King. Here it comes. Catch wind in your hair, sparkle, sea spritz on your nose. And what was that last one all about?
That was about my relationship. That was good. It was very good.
Yay. Okay, with that, can you remind us how literally in each moment that is the opportunity? And we blow off so many moments, and that's okay too. But in each moment is that opening openness opportunity. What's that all about again, Jana? You're a professional on this. What are we forgetting?
We're forgetting to enjoy the moments, enjoy the journey, not the destination, for sure. Um, I'm just going to do this very quickly, but you know how your parents tell you when you raise kids, be careful, you'll blink and they're gone. Well, we
Mm,
blinked and they're gone. And so that taught me it's a do-over when I'm a grandparent. Like when my grandkids call, I'm focused. What are they saying? I'm touching them. I'm making sure they're knowing they're being heard. I'm making sure I'm watching every gross step of theirs. But I missed it with my kids, as we all do. There's no shame in the game, but the moments go by so fast and you're missing the journey, which is the most important part.
mm. Hey, I'm going to sneak in Joy again, the photo of Joy the angel. Can she mention a mantra that you would have said naturally, organically, anyhow? And then can you share what the mantra is? Can you say it with us out loud and so that it will resonate? Anybody at home who wants to start repeating it a little, they're about to go for a run, they repeat it 5 times, they want to go for a walk, they want to go hug their dog and repeat this mantra, they might feel a little expansion. What mantra are you getting from Joy? And what are we going to
It
leave with?
it has a bad word in it. It has the A word. Am I allowed to say it?
Oh, here, yeah, you might as well say it. I mean, or modify it a little.
I don't know how I can modify it. So my this was something I've heard, and since my mom came in, it just popped in, but she always told me the masses are asses.
Okay, well, that's
Dare to
fine.
be different, my little girl. Like dare to be different. And I've always tried to be myself, different, right, than everyone else and not fit in with the masses.
Yeah, so dare to just chart your own course.
100%.
I like that. Well, Jana Short, once again, another brilliant episode. Folks, the master guest list is at my website, michaelandreford.com. Just go to the Angels Positivity Love Show. You can see every guest from January of 2023 right now to December of 2025. By the time you see this show, we'll be booked into 2026. But you're going to see Jana, her original show was episode 135 on Sunday, October 27th, 2024. You're seeing this Friday, April 18th of 2025, episode 209, and 100 episodes later in December of 2025, episode 309, Sunday, December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day, but it's going to be a Pearl Harbor of love. Jana will be back on. So thank you, Jana. You're amazing, and I think people can feel it. Thanks for being on Angels, Positivity, and Love.
Thank you so much. It was a real pleasure.